To reduce your spoiler consumption, please review Life is Strange through episode 4 before proceeding. Recently, Ocular did a video where she counted on Don't Nod's attention to detail by breaking down Rachel Amber's name to search for clues within its meaning. I thought this was a novel idea, so I was inspired to take it a step further. What I'm about to present is a breakdown of every character's name from Life is Strange, and my attempt at getting an overall meaning out of each. As I do, consider whether some of these give insights into these characters that we didn't already have. I'll begin by reanalyzing Rachel Amber's name from my own perspective. So the meaning of Rachel is ewe or sheep, as Ocular said. Dawn both can mean the rising sun, but if you look it up from a name meaning perspective, you also get awakening. Amber is a type of jewel, and from a name meaning perspective can also mean fierce. But I tend to think they use that name because of the Amber Alert, which, if you're not familiar with it, in America it's a system where they find missing children, basically, and it's named after a child who went missing. To me, if we combine all of that together, maybe minus the amber, what we tend to get is a lot of resurrection, because the sheep is tied symbolically to Jesus, and combine that with awakening, and you've got some really strong resurrection symbolism. Now we'll look at Chloe's name. If you're wondering where these middle names are coming from, they're coming from the part of the game when we went to the principal's office and looked at all the students' files. Chloe means fresh blooming, Elizabeth means oath of God, and I'm going to take the cost meaning of the name Price. Now, if you arrange those in the order of a sentence, you can kind of go, God's oath is there will be a cost for fresh blooming, which implies a cost of rebirth, in my opinion. Alright, next we have Warren, and his name means protecting friend, judgment of God, and home. And to me, combining all those together, the meaning I get out of it is guardian angel. Next, for Nathan, we get he gave a savior priest cottage. Now you combine all those together and you actually get a very positive meaning, and to me it's talking about a safe haven, so consider what that might mean. Okay, so for Kate, we have pure, beaver clearing, I kid you not, and swamp. So the pure and swamp seem contrasting to me. It's like clean and unclean. And beaver clearing, to me, is kind of both chaotic and order, because it's like taking a forest and clearing it out. So to me, that all that together really just kind of means a mix of light and dark. Victoria seems very fitting for her. We have conquer, bitter oath of God, and to seize, which altogether to me means win at any cost. Is it weird to anybody else that we don't actually know Max's middle name? Anyway, so her meaning is greatest, bright, noble, and cold field. And it's hard for me to put those together, but I would say maybe tenacity. For Frank Bowers, we get free one and a shady recess, which to me means dark and free. For Alyssa, we get not insane, son of man, which I guess to me means down to earth. For Stella, we get star and hill, which to me makes me think a stargazer, like a dreamer. This one's good. For Logan, we have hollow, son of famed shining, which to me means stereotypical jock. Okay, I had a hard time with this one. Zachary, we have remembered by God and ridge dweller. I I'm thinking maybe monk? I don't know. Alright, for Brook, we've got small stream, wanderer, or painted warrior. Now, to me, this makes me think of somebody wandering and finding a small brook of water, which brings up imagery of oasis to me, but I don't really know what that would mean. For Courtney, we have short nose and wagon driver. I can't really get much out of that except for chauffeur. For Dana, we've got judge and guard, which to me makes me think protector or secretive. For Daniel DaCosta, we have judge and hillside dweller, which to me makes me think hermit or possibly outcast. Evan's name means young, gracious, house ruler, which to me means prince. For Hayden, it's Hedge Valley, gracious, shown favor, which to me means some kind of nurturer. For Juliet, we have youthful and ruler of the army, which would mean some sort of young general, and I think that's actually very fitting with her job as a newspaper reporter, because journalists sort of lead the charge in public outcry topics. For Justin, we've got fair and resolute protector, which to me says knight. Luke is light-giving forest ranger, which to me says guide. In case you don't remember, Sarah was the biatch who wouldn't let you into the VIP section. Anyway, Sarah means princess, but in the Bible, the person named Sarah was named Sarai before that, which means quarrelsome, and I think that's more fitting for Sarah, so I'm going with that. Tailor means tailor, which I think relates to an interest in clothes. Christensen means follower of Christ, which I think relates to her being a groupie of Victoria. How crazy is it that we don't even know Trevor's last name? Anyway, Trevor means big village homestead, so I guess that means city person? This one's kind of interesting and revealing. So Mark Jefferson. Mark means warring hammer, but also polite shining. And Jefferson can mean peace territory, foreign, or hostage. Both of those have both positive and negative meanings. So I would say overall it just means two-faced. David Madsen means beloved friend, gift from God, which to me seems like Don't Nod's way of saying, hey, he's actually a good guy. Michelle Grant means like God and grand, which means powerful and influential, which I guess we see as she is able to either successfully or nearly successfully mount a successful petition. I'm also surprised we don't know Samuel's last name. Anyway, Samuel means God has heard, which all by itself I guess would mean some sort of prophet. Ray Wells, probably better known as the Principal, we have regal, counsel, guards wisely, spring or stream. Now the counsel and guards wisely I think relates to his role as principal. Combine guards wisely with spring, and I think maybe you've got prudent. Here we have Max's dad. His name means Little King and Coldfield. The Little King to me means Powerless Head, because he's important in his family, but in the game he isn't really that important. So this one's interesting. Max's mom, Vanessa. So Vanessa actually has no meaning because it was a name made up by a poet, but they have named a genus of butterfly by that name. And of course, Caulfield means cold field again. Butterflies are really symbolic in this game, and they kind of mean cause and effect, so I guess that has to relate to her, right? Joyce has had both the last names Price and Madsen, so I'll look at the meaning of both along with her. We have Lord, enthusiasm, cost, Gift of God. To me that means Outgoing Host. And for the late William Price, we have Resolute Protector and Enthusiasm or Cost, which to me says family man, but also the cost relates to how he's mourned. Yes, I went there. We're analyzing the dead cat's name. Deal with it. So Bongo is actually the name of an antelope that has a red-brown coat, and it can also refer to drums or drumming. And price still means enthusiasm or cost. The cost, I would still say, relates to being mourned, and maybe the antelope with a red-brown coat part relates to the cat being a ginger, possibly? I don't know, have we seen the cat? Maybe it's gonna be a ginger. Next is Harry Aaron Prescott, who I believe it's not clear whether he's Nathan's grandfather or great-grandfather. His name means house ruler, lofty, and priest's cottage, which to me says he's the head of the Prescotts. So this one's interesting. Prescott still means priest's cottage, but Sean means God is gracious. That to me implies he's actually kind of nice, despite being godlike. For Christine Prescott, that's Nathan's sister, we have follower of Christ, and again, priest's cottage, which I guess we have some sort of strong beliefs or morals. Martin Lewis Prescott is some sort of distant Prescott ancestor, and we have warrior of Mars, famous in war, and priest's cottage. That's a lot of war symbolism there, so I think he's pretty warring. Richard Marsh, that's Kate's dad. We have strong ruler and swamp, which I guess is head of the family. Kate's sister, Lynn Marsh, we have pond, waterfall, and swamp. That's a lot of water symbolism, but we have both moving and still water, so I'm getting a hard time coming up with any kind of overall meaning out of it. So Pompidou's kind of a weird one. So I looked up the name, and despite being a common French name, I couldn't seem to come up with any meanings for it, other than referencing a president by the name of Georges Jean Raymond Pompidou. And Bowers still means shady recess. I assume that's Pompidou's last name. But I don't think I have the cultural knowledge to really say much about that president and what he would overall mean. So I guess ask a Frenchie. Remember that cop who's been around? You know, Anderson Barry? Well, apparently his name means son of man Lee and flower or berry. I guess that means nice cop? DJ Doom, if that is your real name. We have disc jockey, and Doom is of course ill fate, death, or destruction. And I guess that's foreshadowing. His shirt says fate, so there's that. Megan Weaver, if you'll recall, is Chloe's friend in the alternate universe. Megan means pearl, and Weaver means maker of fabrics. Combine those two, and you get sort of a fashionista meaning, in my opinion. I think it's interesting that she's Chloe's friend in the alternate timeline, and she has a jewel in her name, the pearl part, and Chloe's friend in the regular timeline, Rachel Amber, has amber in her name, which is also a jewel. I think that's an interesting connection. Well, that's it for the names, so feel free to discuss whether I messed up on some of these meanings, or if some of these meanings reinforce some theories that you might have on your own. Until next time, take care.